Why, even Dracula will be there. It's time for games, it's time for fun, not for just one, but for everyone.
We good?
Yeah, sure.
Are we good? I think we're good. I don't know. Justin's really
Welcome back to Take 2 of MySTREAMy Brony Theater 4000.
MySTREAmy.
That's what I said, MySTREAMy.
No, you did not. I said it because I say it better. Okay, again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. This happens at random moments. I feel like a complete idiot. So I'm just going to put you on the desktop where everybody can see a very tiny Justin Sproor and just do that.
Sproor. Anyway.
Because he's a Sprorin.
Well,
everybody should be wearing bikinis.
One exciting thing I actually got to do a few days ago was I actually got to attend a Jay and Silent Bob Get Old podcast. No, I did not go to Tampa Bay MegaCon. Neither did Evan. Neither of us could really afford it this year.
Well, the other reason was because of Bruce's wedding.
What's that?
The other reason was because of Bruce's wedding. Shout out to Bruce Carr and congratulations on finally reaching this point of your life.
Yeah, he will be. He will be tying the knot next Saturday, right?
Yep.
Twisting
the knot.
Jay and we're actually coming to West Palm Beach, an area that's closer to me, and I actually brought like several things to get signed with me. A photo and 2 DVDs. My sister Megan wanted to go, and we tried to work this out, but we just couldn't get it in time. She got called into work. And plus also my boss failed to call me up and tell me that I had that day off. So I went into work for like 3 minutes for nothing. But anyway, I get to the venue, I get seated, and there's no guarantee if they're going to be doing a signing or not. Most likely they do it after the show. But luckily I'm seated next to the green room, so I was able to catch them on their way out. The podcast itself was hilarious. They just kind of talked about essentially just them getting old, stories from their childhood, and the reason how this podcast came to be was when Jason Mewes was in the process of trying to get sober, which, by the way, he has been for 7.5 years now.
Yes, there was a movie. There was actually an essay that I wrote called "Me and My Shadow." By the way, we have a question.
Sure.
Are you guys pumped for the MLP movie?
Yes!
Yeah, it's gonna be good. I keep telling Justin, like, when it comes to the movie, I'm not expecting anything grand or spectacular. What I am expecting is just your average everyday kids movie. I mean, that's fair, right?
Well, to be fair, I don't think Hasbro, or maybe just MLP in general, has ever had a chance to make a movie of this magnitude. So, I mean, sure, there was the original one from the 80s, but that was 30 years ago. But I'm definitely excited. I'm pumped. I have been tweeting Daniel, my thoughts on the soundtrack, at least the 5 songs that he's been able to do with the characters. The rest of the album or the soundtrack is guest artists. But anyway,
as I was saying, like, I'm pumped to see it. I can't wait to see it. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, due to some technical difficulties, we're going to be doing this podcast style. So,
So turn off my camera?
No, well, yeah, you can turn off your camera, sure. Sorry, man. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to be doing this podcast style because apparently YouTube and my internet's being a bitch. Like I said, as for how it's going to do at the box office, I will say it's probably going to top the kids' movies, but out of all them, let's be real here, they're kind of going against Blade Runner, so... Yeah, but I'm looking forward to it. I really am looking forward to seeing what they come up with and seeing whether things are good.
To be
Like,
fair, though, I'm not sure if your average Blade Runner fan or just anybody outside of MLP is going to come to this movie.
What do you mean? Well, wait, what was that?
I don't know if any people outside of the fandom will be going to the movie. I mean, I'm hoping. I hope so. But if you're going to ask me which fandom is bigger, MLP or Blade Runner, it's Blade Runner.
Yeah, well, I've actually never seen Blade Runner. I haven't, so I wouldn't really know.
I haven't either, but I'm assuming it's bigger than MLP's.
Yeah, it's actually it hasn't been another Blade Runner movie in a while, and they got Harrison Ford in this one.
But anyway, going back to the podcast, I thought Evan would get well, he did get a kick out of this when I told him. But basically, one of the stories I told was Kevin actually grew up in a fairly religious household. He and his siblings went to a private Catholic school. His dad was the only one that worked and had, only pulled in like $20,000 a year. But his mom really knew how to stretch out a dollar. So they would go. So they actually were able to go to Disney, and of course, whenever you go to an amusement park, things are always super expensive. But he was still able to get expensive toys. And one day he's like, "Oh, Mama, can I get this?" Like, "Oh yeah, sure. Walk out with it. We'll take care of it." So he walks out with it. His parents walk right out with him, and it's like, "Mom, what's going on?" Like, "Oh, we actually send Disney a check, once we get home. So if you're wondering where Pay As You Exit came from in the Clerks cartoon, there you go."
Did he actually verbally admit that's where that joke came from?
It also came from Little Rascals as well.
I haven't seen it.
So it had two meanings. But when then suddenly at 29 years old, he's meeting up with his siblings. They're talking about Disney. And it's like, yeah, who would have thought? I didn't think Mom would I didn't know you could actually do that. And his brother goes, "Kevin, do you actually think Mom sent Disney World a check for everything they took?" "Yeah. Did it ever occur to you why whenever we got the Mickey Mouse hats with the ears, our names weren't stitched into them?" "No. Turns out, yeah, they stole them."
Anyway, according to this, the MLP movie is going to have a PG rating.
What's that?
It's according to Nathaniel Lockridge, the MLP movie has a PG rating. That's cool.
But anyway, it was a lot of the podcast, the show. It was a lot of fun, but I noticed that the ending was taking a lot longer than usual, and I realized it was cutting into their meet and greet time if they were going to do one. So by the time it ends, they're walking off stage, and as I said, I'm seated next to the green room. So I stuck out a picture for Kevin Smith to sign with a Sharpie. Like, "Can you sign this for me, please?" Like, "Oh yeah, sure." So he quickly signs it and hands it back to me, and I was so excited because this was the same picture that I had Jason Mewes sign when he was a guest at Spooky Empire in Orlando, Florida. So now I got the two of them on that picture. So I go outside or into the lobby where there's people lining up where presumably they're going to be doing a meet and greet. And we waited there for like maybe 45 minutes before we were told, no, they're not going to do one. Because they had to drive all the way to Tampa for Tampa Bay MegaCon. So we all go outside because it's closing. And we sit there for maybe another hour or so just to see if they might come out. By the time I left, which was 11:11, there was like only 8 of us. Without, man, can't you guys come on out? Seriously? And keep in mind, where this is held, this venue, the West Palm Beach Improv, is a giant city. Well, it's called City Place. And basically it's almost like a bunch of buildings like crammed together. So we don't know if there's like another exit anywhere. So I just called it a night. And I was bummed out because I wanted to get their autograph for my sister. Because she never gives conventions a try. I know my family would actually love them, but they have this vision of them of just this horrible cramped place. But and it's so big. There's so much walking to do. And I tried telling them, like, it's smaller than a mall. At least the size of the venue is, depending on which con you go to. But as I'm leaving, I notice this opening in the road with this bright light coming out of it. And I'm like, oh, what's going on there? And I see somebody holding a Jay and Silent Bob picture. I go, wait, is that them? And it turns out it was them. So I dash over there and got to meet them. I had them sign the other DVDs.
Nice.
Yeah, I took some pictures with them. Super cool guys. And turns out, I didn't realize this, but Kevin Smith actually voiced a stormtrooper in The Force Awakens.
You didn't know that?
No, I did not.
Everybody knew that. He knew he had made a famous quote where he said he went to the Star Wars set one day and left in tears.
Well, I remember that picture, but I didn't.
No, he didn't. Did he take a picture?
I do know the picture you're talking about. It's got his glasses off, thumbs up, and there's like a tear coming down his eye.
He has one line in the movie. It's just a background character, and it's like next thing you'll tell me is that you didn't know Daniel Craig was in the movie.
I don't know who he is.
The current James Bond.
Ah, okay.
He's the guy that was in that Rey uses the Force on in the interrogation room.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I also want to add into the chat here for those of you who are arguing about the movie. Look, I'm just gonna be honest here. Whether the movie's gonna be good or bad, or just good in this case of Justin, let's just agree on one thing. Let's just agree on one thing here. It's most likely going to be a better movie than the original one, which, by the way, the Cinema Snob, one of my favorite critics and also one of my online influences that inspired me to do a lot of stuff, actually did a recent video for his musical March in September series where he did the My Little Pony movie. I don't know why. He just probably did in honor of the movie and since it has music.
And that's me with them.
It's cool because nobody can see it.
Well, I'm showing you, Evan.
Oh yeah, you sent me the pictures. I showed that to my dad today.
Oh, cool.
He said you were lucky.
And well, here's the thing. For those of you who have been around for a while, I told him that. Well, I told Kevin Smith that my friend Spencer was Vader in Rogue One, and he was like, yeah. He seriously is like, so now you can officially say that you or my friend who was your boss.
Oh, it's fun. I mean, like, you said they did a reading for the next Jay and Silent Bob movie, right?
Yeah, actually they did. They planned on making. They are making another movie called Jay and Silent Bob Rebooted.
Yeah, right. Look, I'm gonna be freaking honest here. I like Kevin Smith. I like his movies. I mean, like, two things. One, he announced Clerks 3 and all these sequels to his movies that they never came into fruition.
Well, can I tell you what happened? Because he said why.
Huh?
Well, he said why. What he said what happened to Clerks 3.
What happened?
Jeff Anderson, who played Randall, 2 months before production, he dropped out of the project. He just doesn't want anything to do with it.
No, I mean, like, he was kind of. If you watch the documentary behind the making of Clerks 2, it was kind of huge. And here's the other thing. I don't know whether it's the popularity, but let's just face here. I like the Jay and Silent Bob movie, but it's funny, it's great. Though in reality, it's not that good of a movie. That's the thing.
Now, can I give you the explanation here?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Okay. He knows that Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back was not that good of a movie. I mean, the New York Times or like any other major wasn't really on his side for that. But Jay, for those of you who may not know, was not sober about that movie. But now that Jay has been sober for so long, he wants to actually make another one. He kind of wants, kind of like a chance to redeem himself, I guess. And when he's been trying to stay sober for years on end, oh, okay, let's go for it. And the movie is to be basically a stab at remakes, reboots, and sequels, while simultaneously being one of all three at the same time.
Hold
on. And apparently, like, Stan Lee has a cameo in it, too.
Nice.
So,
really...
basically, the certain scene they did was a scene at Brody's comic book shop, and they're kind of explaining he's explaining to Jay the difference between like a sequel and a remake and a reboot. And it's like, well, what about The Force Awakens? Oh, that was a reboot. I thought it was a sequel. No, well then what's a reboot? A reboot is when they actually will remake a movie, but has no respect to the original or new source material, like the new Ghostbusters.
Was he right?
What's that?
Was he right? Is that correct?
I would say so. Everybody hated the new Ghostbusters.
Yeah, except for you. I haven't seen it, so I have no room to judge.
I never said it was good. I just said it was above average. Get it right, Evan.
I don't remember stuff.
And yet you give me so much shit when I don't.
No, I have not seen the to answer the question. I did not see the trailer for the Thinning. Where the world is so it's the thing where it's a movie. It's a movie for. According to Nathaniel Lockridge, he's asking this question. Where the world is so overpopulated, the USA puts out a test in the school system, and the students who fail are executed. That's is that YouTube movie that nobody saw?
I love how you phrase that.
Well, who the heck watches YouTube Red?
For people who used to watch Scared PewDiePie.
PewDiePie. But yeah, it's like yeah, I mean, like, if you like that stuff, good for you. I don't care. I'm just not getting it. Like, then again, that's the worst thing here. I can't really diss the YouTube Red because you know, a lot of people online are making a living off of it, such as the Game Grumps who recently did their show, and
who are coming to Fort Lauderdale too, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to see them, but if you do, I would definitely want you to get an autograph for yourself. Which is weird because Aaron grew up in Orlando. That was the weird thing. But the thing is that what was I gonna say? I saw the trailer for The Thinning, and yeah, it was frightening. I don't like movies that are like that. Like, I never saw The Hunger Games, so.
Evan's kind of a puss.
I'm not a puss. Like, I remember watching this one movie by Uwe Boll, which is if you guys don't know, he's a dick director.
He doesn't count as a horror filmmaker.
What?
He doesn't count as a horror filmmaker.
No. Hold on. It was Uwe Boll is notorious for making bad movies and getting the profit off them. There was one singular movie that he made that was actually very good, according to people. It was called Rampage, where the movie's literally about this guy who's pissed off about stuff, and he literally dons this suit of armor, and the entirety of the movie is him going on this killing rampage of him going to this town and literally slaughtering everybody. And no, if any of you saw that and thought it was funny, no, it was not. Like, there's this scene in this nail salon where he's got all these girls who are who are scared to death. He tells one of them to get him a cup of water. He takes off his mask and drinks, then leaves the store and says, "Okay, you saw me without my mask," and then he just slaughters them in the corner. That isn't funny. I don't care. Anybody who thinks that would be funny is a complete and total asshole. I'm just saying here.
Well, I didn't see the movie, so I can't say.
Oh yeah, Great Mewtwo says Uwe Boll sucks. He ran the House of the Dead movie into crap.
To be fair, though, because there is one thing I will say about that particular film. It's not good. It is, in fact, bad. But to be honest, I don't think anybody could have made a movie about House of the Dead and have it be good, at least.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Isn't that the movie where the end that woman, they're being attacked by that guy who's completely, like, albino, and in the end they chop up his head, he's still going, the girl steps on his head to kill him?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw the ending of that, and I thought the ending was cool.
Well, the thing is that I've played House of the Dead in the arcade at home, and it's really not meant to be a movie because it's really just a rail shooter. The pacing is faster than the blink of an eye. There's virtually no character development. The story is, just paper thin. So I don't think anybody could have made a movie about that. So I'm afraid I have to give Uwe Boll a free pass on that one. Bad movie, but I don't think anybody could have made it good.
You're making me realize that if they were to make like a Metroid movie today, that wouldn't really work. Unless it was like a silent horror movie. By the way, I'm almost close to beating Metroid Samus Returns. I'm not going to say who the final boss is, but I'm going to say there is another fight after the Queen Metroid.
Well, why is that you think Metroid would not make a good movie? Because I am not that familiar with it.
Well, here's the thing. When Other M came out, they gave Samus a voice, which I was not against. Like, I'm probably one of the very few people that actually liked Other M, but like everybody else, the gameplay was good, but the story was pretty bad. Because, like, they got, like, a very... They didn't get the original voice actors of Samus to be in there. Now, Samus has never spoken in the games, like, vocally. It was usually, like, speech bubbles or something like that. Like, in Fusion, she has some words to say, but it's, like, all text. So I'm, Nathaniel, I'm going to answer that question in just a moment. But the thing was, like, they got an actress who has never voice acted. She was, like, a stage actor. She didn't even have that much experience, and she was all monotone through the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, like, in terms of thing, I'm going to be drawing more towards the Prime series, because that's my favorite series of all time. In the game, you're just Samus. There's no real indication of what you're supposed to do. It's kind of like more... kind of figure it out. Kind of like... picture it kind of like the Breath of the Wild, but more complicated. Like, you're dropped off on this planet, and stuff like that. But that's the thing. Samus doesn't have much of a personality, but then again, if you watch her backstory, it's pretty good. I'd recommend looking up the Metroid manga. You can find translated versions online. Because, yeah, if you can see how fucked up Samus's life was just incredible.
So, would you say that Samus was kind of a blank slate?
If you've never... not really. She has a history, but if you were, like, going in the Metroid series without realizing anything, then you kind of would think that way. But then again, you realize as you play the game, she's just a bounty hunter that's just exploring. Just chilling. See,
because blank slates can work, or at least be done. I know this is a bad example, but basically that girl from the Twilight series, she was basically a blank slate for, basically girls that kind of fantasize that's them.
Yeah, that was like the thing with... I never liked the Twilight movies.
Well, I've never seen them, but from what I'm told, they're downright stupid.
Yeah,
but
the first one I could barely watch.
But the point is, though, is that a blank slate character is doable.
Like, I would if they were to make Metroid into, like, a silent horror movie where a girl's just exploring this world where these things are out to get her and she's being stalked by space pirates, that would be awesome. I would love... I don't think anything's been done like that, like a silent horror movie. That's more atmospheric than... It's like atmospheric, things jump out and get you. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. I don't know if a full-length feature could work like that, but perhaps maybe a short, or perhaps maybe what Netflix did with Castlevania. Have maybe just 4 episodes.
That would be good. Yeah, no, that's a good way to put it. To answer the question here, Nathaniel Lockridge, I apologize for putting this question off. Some news surveys. Name some funny deaths in movies. I know a perfect answer for this one.
A funny death in a movie.
I'll give you here. I'll simplify it for you. Pick any death from any of the Final Destination movies or Saw.
Ooh.
Hey, Jake Arnold. I got one. That's actually some good suggestions there. The Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 Garbage Day guy. Garbage Day. It's funny because that guy actually made one appearance after his movie but he was he disappeared after he did it.
I'm still trying to think of a funny death scene in a movie because.
Sorry, I'm laughing at a comment YouTube made saying Samus is my inspiration for walking around in amusement parks and cruise ships alike. It's funny because you don't know what he's talking about. Anyway, so you gotta play the game.
No, I'm trying to be serious here. A funny death scene, because I've seen stupid death scenes, but they weren't really that funny.
I know the perfect one.
There's one type of death I see happen in horror films. Now, granted, I have not seen this happen lately, so I'll take that as a good sign. But when someone's death is by a breaking of the neck, that is so stupid. Because it's not...
Man of Steel.
What?
I said Man of Steel. Man of Steel.
Yeah, I know. It's still stupid.
Yeah, but it makes sense. Anyway, one thing...
Yeah, I mean, at least, Angry Joe and even Nostalgia Critic, they had a good reason for why it was... it didn't piss them off. Why it was actually, not a bad move, we'll put it.
Okay, to ballpark, my favorite funniest death ever is in Final Destination 2. In Final Destination 2, this girl walks out in the street and is hit by a bus, which is virtually impossible. Oh, yeah. You could just drop fucking dead. Do I know what's actually really funny? That death doesn't make any sense, because if you look in the direction the bus was coming from, there's actually construction equipment blocking that road. I'm not even lying. I'm not even lying.
I haven't watched that movie in forever.
Yeah, well, it was the first one. The first one was good. The other ones are complete crap.
No, the second one was
okay,
good.
Second one was good.
Yeah, the third one was stupid.
Doesn't even make any sense.
The fourth one, again, also stupid.
Didn't even follow the book.
I didn't see the last one.
Yeah, I think it's good. The fourth one was creative with the car thing, but in the book it's supposed to take place in a nightclub or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, because the thing with Final Destination, that's actually a pretty good idea for a horror film. It is.
Yeah, but like, the other one was okay, but it's kind of like more like, how did you get the power to do that? Can I ask how? Where did you get it? Whatever.
It's not so much the power, just rather he figured it out.
It's never answered in the movie, technically, isn't it?
Sort of. Basically, he figures out Death's plan, essentially. Like, he figures out, who was supposed to go and when and how. Like, he actually Tony Todd, his character, says that Death actually will leave little hints and clues to see, who's going to be going next.
It's kind of stupid. But I'm just saying.
What's that?
Hold on a second. Sorry, go on.
And the character, he actually figures it out. He knows where to look for these clues, and when it's who's going to be going next. With Final Destination 2, the one death that I actually that granted I was younger when I saw this, but it actually kind of upset me. And spoilers, was actually when the mother's child dies.
Oh yeah, with the glass thing. Kid who nearly suffocates on the fish.
Basically what happens, he sees some pigeons in the street, and he goes like, he scares them away
like an idiot.
And glass falls and crushes him.
Yeah, mom should not be able to bury her child. Anyway, I gotta stop you here because I'm about to introduce a new segment into the show.
And what is that, dear sir?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm giving you a new segment, you guys here. I give you Evan Bernardi's Big Top 10 of the Week. This is a section of the show where I like to just write down the top 10 things about this week. And here's a nice picture of me in Hugh Hefner's robe in a chair. May he rest in peace. Coming in at number 10 here, number 10, car commercials. Number 9, time travel. Number 8, Buzz Lightyear's gauntlets. Number 7, Clint Eastwood's hair. Number 6, Chinese food. I forgot what, yeah. Number 5, oh shit. Number 5, Little Hugs fruit barrels. So those drinks that you got in every single kid's birthday party that you go to that look like they're in barrels. You left? Mother fuck. I'm not finishing this until he comes back. I am not finishing this until he comes back. You guys can have your Little Hugs fruit barrels. I don't care what you say. Is that an LFO reference you just made there, Great Mewtwo?
Wait, what?
Great Mewtwo just said Chinese food makes me sick. Anyway.
Oh, dear Lord. LF freaking O.
Anyway, moving on. Number 5, I got Little Hugs fruit barrels. It's those drinks that you had at every children's party you've ever been to. Number 4, Tom Cruise. Number 3, The Button. Number 2, Baron Praxis. And going in at number 1, Stardust Crusaders. That was...
What he said.
What?
What he said.
You never seen... You gotta watch more anime. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for another rendition of Evan's Big Top 10 of the Week. Hope to see you next week, where we'll be discussing more important things on this big top 10 list. And you will be seeing my character in that chair.
Back to the stream.
Back to the stream.
Anyway, in other pony-related news, I actually found out today that LA Equestria will be closing its doors. We lost another pony convention.
Sucks.
It does. According to the article, it was both the fandom and the fact they didn't want to do it again. However, there's no clear indication as to how much of each. Now, one thing I will say is a good business would know how to adapt. For those of you that don't know, there is a great horror convention down here. In fact, I mentioned it earlier, called Spooky Empire. It is, in fact, a horror con. But horror right now is not a real hot ticket item. So they have to, try to get more of the mainstream crowd in here so that they can, stay afloat. Now, so here, let me actually read off some of the guests that they actually have. Let's see here, guests, media guests.
I'm gonna test the desktop here. Here, anyway, go on there.
Well, okay. Anyway, for their main guests of honor, the first one at least does come from a horror film. Richard Dreyfuss, he was in Jaws. Some of the other guests: Joan and John Cusack, Molly Ringwald, Anthony Michael Hall, Jennifer Carpenter, Shannon Elizabeth, who, to be fair, was in a horror film. She was in 13 Ghosts, and she was also in the first Scary Movie.
You mean the 13
one of
Ghosts
my
of
personal
Scooby-Doo?
guilty pleasures.
The 13
What's that?
The 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo?
No, 13 Ghosts.
Oh. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I'll have to show you the poster here.
Oh yeah, that poster, I didn't watch that movie.
Yeah, I did. I actually remember liking it, but whatever. And let's see here. Fairuza Balk from The Craft.
The Craft.
Yeah, and then suddenly they have all their horror-related guests. The voice of the Crypt Keeper, John Kaser, Ken Foree, and apparently they seem to be doing a reunion of the Lost Boys.
Oh yeah, from Hook?
No.
Because they recently did a reunion.
This one.
I don't know what those are. Is that like something?
It's a Lost movie. I think this one actually has to do with vampires.
Of course it does.
Yeah. So but anyway, they had to invite more mainstream guests to actually keep afloat. So I think some of it has to do with the fact that perhaps maybe they don't really want to do it anymore because it is a lot of work, people. It is.
Oh yeah, apparently they had according to this, they had Equestria Daily at Spooky Empire 2 years ago.
They did. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing there. Like, if you look at like something like the Grand Brony Gala, I don't want you to give any personal business out here, but yeah, I honestly think that its next move should be trying to adapt and bring in some other stuff there. A lot of people I've actually spoken to have agreed with that. Which
yeah. I even remember at one point Spooky Empire invited somebody from the Monster High series.
Well, yeah, well, that's a show based on Spook. Is that series even still going?
I think. I can't really tell, but the point is though is that while it's based on monsters, it's obviously not really scary. So they'll find like things that are loosely connected to it. Like I think it was like maybe last year they had Weird Al as a guest, and the only thing he's done that I can think of that's horror related is when he made a cameo appearance in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2.
Yeah. Anyway, I hear what you're saying. Honestly, when it comes to me, like I've discussed this before, like. How to discuss this? I'm not anti-Brony convention, but I feel like the scene. Don't take this the wrong way. I feel like the scene might be getting old. Like I said, you have to evolve into. I feel like the scene's getting old. Like I said, some people need to like kind of meld their way into other conventions. But at the same time, having a single theme convention, unless you're like something huge like BronyCon or Everfree or something like that, that isn't really gonna do that. Like if you look at the gala, like I said, it should focus on bringing on like evolving into a more multicultural thing. Like you could still have what's the name of the mascot? Sundancer.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sundancer as the mascot. I mean, like, cool. Why not? I mean, you go there, you see some other people there, and it's pretty cool. But like,
I do know that BronyCon this year they actually have Pokemon related events there.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, and doing that is perfectly fine. I mean, I even remember talking with my friend Ari about it, who I told you was in the first Friday the 13th movie, and he said how often something like this does happen.
Yes.
There's peaks and valleys, and right now we're kind of at a valley point,
yes.
and we just have to wait until something comes along that kind of kicks things back up again. Hopefully, it's going to be the movie.
Here's what I should. Sorry, Fluffernutter said they should call it the Grand Fandom Gala. I think they should call it the Grand Geek Gala. GGG. Anyway, one thing I should probably point out here, I'm sorry if I'm breaking here, there are different conventions out there, like there are Doctor Who conventions, Star Wars conventions, but those are kind of based on like big profit projects that are like still going on today. MLP is just one singular cartoon that wasn't really beloved throughout the years. It kind of stopped during Gen 3. When I say it wasn't popular, it was just not big as it was then. But if you look at like something else, like say furry conventions, that's not really based on a fandom. It's based on like something people like to do, where people can express their.
Yeah.
What?
It's the furry fandom is based on art style essentially.
It's like an art style. I mean, like people like to do that stuff. If people say it's a fetish, I don't give a damn. Fetishes are not bad, but basically, like you can call it whatever you want. I don't have a problem with it, but like, it's people that like to come together and do what they do best. That's what the purpose of a convention is for, to get information and talk and market with other people that are in the same genre that you enjoy. That's why.
Personally, you do have a point with ponies not being as popular as Star Wars or Star Trek. But that's honestly because, as you said, G1 through 3 didn't really get it right until 2010 when G4 was released.
Yes, that's the thing. Like, don't think the fandom is dying. I think it's just like I keep saying. I think it's melded. It's melded into geek fandom.
Yeah, I don't believe Bronies are going away anytime soon. But everyone has kind of realized that it's okay to have more than one interest. You'll notice that with certain Brony content creators, one of which who we will be working with here soon, they all kind of have their hands in different fandoms.
Who was this one that you were talking about, or is that a surprise?
The bandana girl.
Oh yeah, freaking well, she's still at the pony community, I know that, but she's not really that big active. Like, she does reaction videos, like even me, I do one of my biggest videos in my channel right now is an Undertale thing, and I would love to make a sequel to that, but I got some obligations to do.
Are we allowed to say this person's name?
Who Cellspecs?
Just making sure. I wasn't sure.
Okay, yeah. Fluffernutter put down here. It's mellowing out and merging into geekness. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. At some point, the series will come to an end, and I'll be curious if they ever decide to reboot it again. Because sometimes you do need a fresh start. Surprisingly, this version of Transformers Rescue Bots is the longest running version of the franchise. Yes, it actually reached over 100 episodes. I remember talking to Steve Bloom, who voices I think his name is Shockwave.
You know him as Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop and Tom, the host of Toonami. No, if you don't know, pretty much I can guarantee that's the only things you're going to be knowing about him at least.
And for those of you who are like me, you would probably know him as Tecmo from regular show.
Who was dressed up as Spike Spiegel in one episode.
No, I think that was just for the picture that he was selling at his table.
No, that was in an episode, apparently.
Heatwave! That was the name of the Transformer. But anyway, he told me that this version of Transformers is the longest running version of the series. And which is very odd because all the previous ones, even the Michael Bay movies, was all action oriented and geared towards preteen boys.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Don't see them; they're terrible.
What's that?
I said, but no, don't see them. They're terrible, man. I'm just gonna say out there.
Yeah.
No. Wait, I'm sorry. Scratch that. Pick one movie. There you go. You just need to see one of them. I don't care which.
The first one, people.
The first one. Second one's okay.
I even asked Steve Bloom what he and some of the other people thought of the movies. He goes,
He gave you that in that Spike Spiegel voice.
But
he truly has the voice of a guy.
But the point is, though, is that those previous versions and even the movies were geared towards preteen boys. And who would have thought this one that was meant for children was going to outlast the rest? Was going to surpass all those.
So yeah, like I can imagine this. Like bronies are still gonna be there. It's just gonna be like saying like you see a character there maybe, or maybe you might want to get a plushie for like old time's sake. Like I still see people like buying Nintendo characters from old stuff. Or something like that, but like it's like people are just going to be melded in there. Like you're going to be a brony at heart. You're still going to appreciate it at most, but you're just not going to be fully involved in it.
Yeah, like if anything, like they'll probably start catering to some of the other things, other characters that they voiced. Like Vincent Tong is also part of the voice cast of Ninjago, the TV series. I don't know about the new movie.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, had a cameo in the. Or at least Flash Sentry had a cameo in the new Equestria Girls music video, Good Vibes. And
I haven't seen it.
I think people are starting to come around to the guy, and honestly, the only thing that really changed is that he's no longer pursuing Twilight, which means you all did hate him because he took your waifu.
Well, that was the thing. Like, the thing with that is that, like, I don't know. I have heard nothing good. Like I'm sorry, Justin. I gotta break this here. The Equestria Girls shorts have not been good. I am sorry. I just gotta point that out there. I have not.
Well, how many have you even seen?
I've seen them all. I saw all the shorts, and I was like, this is just.
Dude, you haven't seen any of. You've barely seen any of them.
I've seen the movie Magic one. I saw the one where that character gets the revenge. You made me watch all the shorts. Remember?
Dude, those were just 3 specials. I'm talking about these, like, 2-minute clips and music videos.
The music videos I've seen, I didn't see the new one. That was the thing. Like, the music videos are okay.
Okay, but Flash wasn't in any of those 3 shorts. Of those 3 specials. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, like, that's the thing. Like, but yeah, as for the shorts, I'm not hearing good reception from it. I mean, like, maybe if they choose something different, it's like that. But I'm sorry.
Well, where have you been hearing this?
Well, I've heard it on forums in real life. Like every single time I bring up to a brony, they always like didn't like. I wouldn't say deny it. There is like, yeah, they could have done a little bit better.
I don't even know who, because that's not basically what I'm hearing.
Maybe it's just like mixed or something like that. Like
besides, I know at HasCon they actually played a clip of the new Equestria Girl series that apparently is going to be airing on YouTube.
Yeah, that was a weird choice, honestly.
Yeah, I don't get it either. I mean, I'm sure they have their reasons, but I'll be curious here. Well, but anyway,
YouTube Red or no, I don't think it is going to be on YouTube Red. Maybe it might be YouTube TV.
Well, either way, they played a clip and fans loved it. Basically, what the clip was is that Sunset's powers.
Hold on, I got a message on my phone. Okay,
what?
Someone sent me a personal message, and no, I did not say bronies are a fetish. I didn't say but yes, I did say fetishes are not bad. You can agree with me on that, right?
Right, I can agree with you on that.
Yeah, I mean, say I have a fetish for smelling flowers. I like to smell flowers. I don't have an obsession.
Anyway, the clip was basically Sunset's powers kind of getting out of control. She can now hear people talk in her head without having to touch them. And they try using like earmuffs, but it's still coming through. And fans, it got a good reaction.
So she's turning into Mao from Code Geass.
So I'm not quite sure exactly what you're referring to about them not being good, because they seem to be getting a good reception.
So she's able to read minds now?
Dude, you saw Legends of Everfree.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry, it's been a long time since I've seen it all the way through, and with that thing with the can I say it or should I leave it a surprise?
What thing?
The thing with the guy after recording, or should we just? Nah.
No, but if you saw the fourth movie, her new magic is that she can basically kind of see or hear people's thoughts when she grabs onto them.
Here's the thing, though. Like, as you know, Code Geass is my favorite anime of all time. There's a character in the film that just randomly shows up, but it makes sense in the anime as to why his name is Mao. He has the power to read people's minds, but the thing is, he loses control of his power, and when he's reading the minds, he's able to hear everybody's mind, and he can't make it stop. The only thing that prevents him from doing it is him wearing these headphones of this girl that's talking to him, like repeating all these phrases like, "Oh, you're doing great, great. I'll stay with you forever, ever." That's basically trying to like calm him down, basically, to like have him focus on one thing. Otherwise, he has all these voices in his head that he can hear at once.
And also, Evan, apparently, according to Amazon, that DVD of those 3 Equestria Girl specials or shorts, or whatever you want to call them, has 4.5 stars out of 5.
It's not perfect, but anyway.
Yes. So I'm not quite sure exactly what.
I don't know. I've just been hearing a lot of mixed reception on it. Anyway, like,
you're turning into someone that we know who's purposely looking for bad reviews.
Well, yeah, I like to. Well, like, here's the thing. Like, I'm not that guy. Like, I know, but in reality, like, as most people would say, movies and videos are not that perfect, and maybe I just like to search to see what's imperfection, but not because of that. I like to always, because the reason why is I like to learn, like what to look for. Like,
you do make some stupid calls though, dude. Yeah. And like I lost count of how many times Brony and I have debunked you.
Yeah, I know. I can't deny it. I'm a nitpick. Big deal.
Well, the thing is that I don't think you ever do learn.
I learn a lot of stuff with my writing. It helps when I learn from my own writing. Like, example, one of the things with writing Whirl was one of the things I had to try and avoid was like throwing out as many plot holes as possible. I can't tell you any because of the script, but like there are some things where you realize you can't like force your way into it or something like that. It's kind of like Citizen Kane, like how did anybody hear him say Rosebud when no one was in the room? But then again, it's like kind of that was an old plot hole that anybody didn't really realize. But then they're like, okay, we're with it. But like, you know, I'm not a guy who's looking for every flaw in a movie. I like to just look at something there. In other words, the best way to put me like this is comparing me similar to what was the movie? What was the guy's name? I think it was Siskel, Gene Siskel, who I'm basically, whenever outside of Justin, a lot of people say I'm kind of like him. I'm more like, I'm a little stuck up when it comes to movies, and I like to nitpick everything rather than just judging the thing as a whole.
Which is actually not a good way to do it.
Well, apparently, I don't know. No, apparently
even James Rolfe said that. You just James. I'll never forget James Rolfe. For those who don't know, is also the Angry Video Game Nerd. He did this top 10 that I absolutely loved called the top 10 movies that aren't as bad as everyone says. And spoiler alert: the number one film was Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And the one thing he said is, do we just nitpick individual scenes, or do we look at the picture as a whole? And I think people are failing to look at movies as a whole now. But they just see they just see a few imperfect scenes and say it's a bad film because of that. Case in point, Bernardi.
Well, it's not that bad to me. That's just how I function, man. Man, sorry. I mean, I'm not Roger Ebert. I'm Gene Siskel. Sorry, man.
No, you're just kind of looking for an excuse to bitch for no apparent reason.
No, I'm just a guy who likes to analyze a video bit by bit to make sure things are good.
What? You analyze? Nothing.
By analyze, I mean observe.
No, analyze means you're actually taking notes and actually doing something with it.
That doesn't mean literally taking notes.
No, you don't. You don't take notes.
I just said I don't take notes. I just like to look and analyze a thing mentally and make sure things are good.
And you fail at it.
No, I do. Well, I can't admit I'm perfect at it.
So then stop.
I'm not dude, telling me to stop is like telling me to stop making videos. I'm not going to at this point.
So you're.
I'm trying, but you're not gonna. But you're.
So
but
you're basically just gonna keep making mistakes and never learn. Got it.
I'm not saying that.
See how pissed off he's getting, folks. And yeah, I'll never, dude. Seriously, like I'll never forget. When you I can't remember which episode about MLP you bitched about, but then suddenly here comes me and Brony and proves you wrong by saying, oh, it was in one of the books, not a comic, but in I think it was Journal of Two Sisters, and you went from being this enraged fanboy.
What episode was this?
Oh, I can't remember. I think it may have been.
So you're assuming that just because I didn't know, you're assuming everybody who saw this particular episode has read the book and knew.
I'm sure there's a lot of people who read the book because it came up in Equestria Daily.
Hold on, I got another message from a friend of mine. I'm not going to tell you what he wrote.
What he wrote? What did he say?
First of all, well, he said, I'm just going to simplify in here. He's criticizing you for judging me based on a personality, and he's criticizing me for basically not having a full point of what I'm saying here. So he's saying, in other words, you're both complete idiots.
You can say I'm an idiot all you want, but the fact of the matter is, if you keep doing one particular thing and how should I say this? The definition of insanity
all the time, man. I'm just doing what I
over.
Look, man, I'm not doing it all the time. It's the fact that I just do. I just like to analyze stuff to make sure my writing is good. I just like to look at things closely.
Okay,
and if you're gonna judge me for what kind of person I am, then that's hurting me. I'm gonna say that out loud right now. That is hurting me.
Okay, but we're not talking about your writing. We're talking about other movies and other pictures and TV shows.
Like hell, I've broken my own favorite movie. Doesn't mean I don't enjoy stuff. Just because I like to pick out stuff doesn't mean I don't enjoy stuff. I mean, I kind of picked out stuff on the last MLP episode I did, but I still liked it. I liked friggin' Health and what was it called? Health and Reception.
Something like that. I remember you really rooted. No, you didn't root, but you basically felt bad for Zakora. Like, oh my god, that's horrible. And I thought
it wasn't so much Zakora, but like I thought that was like, okay, this is weird. But then I heard how the whole thing was like plaguing the entire town. I'm like, okay, this is kind of serious. Doesn't it make any sense? To be honest,
people, I find turning into a tree to be a fate worse than death. That just sounds horrible.
Well, technically, wouldn't you die? Like, I showed you the video of the quote-unquote people turn the tree man syndrome, and you literally took it as a guy who's turning into a literal tree when it's just supposed to be, like, figuratively based on the qualities.
Well, that was my issue.
By the way, guys, he didn't know who the tree man is. Is that guy that made the news, like, years ago. I forgot what the virus is called, though. It's, like, little Vietnam. I don't know.
That sounds accurate.
But like the thing was here's the big nitpick in here. To nitpick it down, it was just the fact that actually, if you want to actually watch a good video about why we nitpick, Doug Walker actually did a good video on it. About why we do it, and I think the message in there is I agree with. I can't remember offhand because I'm a little stressed right now, but one of the things I want to say is that in the episode there are these things called what are they called? The Zappies?
Yeah. We're back on ponies. Yeah,
when I saw that, I'm like to myself, okay, this is sunlit. Are we turning into a save the bees kind of thing there? Because if that's the case, I would see that this would actually kind of work, and it didn't. But it was weird. I mean, like, it's the one time Fluttershy's Geass did not work on the bees. But here's the thing: we've seen bees and
Twitter mites on the show.
Oh yeah, that was terrible.
I mean, it was a dream sequence, but still.
The Twitter mites. What are they going to be? Is she going to be attacked by, like, I don't know, the face beetles? And don't even think that was
beetles.
Don't even get me wrong. The Twitter mites were blue, were like Twitter blue. I'm just going to say there. And they made a good representation of an angry Twitter forum. Let's just put it there. Come on, don't even deny it. Don't even deny it. And also, like I said, I didn't know it was the book, so you informed me so you filled in my nitpicks. I'm not mad about it. I mean, like, I learned to kind of your own mistakes, but then again, usually when it comes, oh yes, Fluttershy used the stare, it didn't affect. I'm like, okay. I'm like, use the stare, it didn't work. She did it. It didn't work. Her Geass failed. The power of the king.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm still trying to digest that word.
Huh?
I'm still trying to get used to that word, Geass.
Oh, it's Geass.
Geass.
Yeah, Geass. You have to watch the series. It's pretty good. It takes place in 2007, where one area that's in the American area is ran by a dictative ruler that wants to expand himself into other nations here here, and then so he takes over another country by force, and then his son. I mean, you get the metaphors for us, but basically, the thing is with the zap bees, like we've seen bees in other places, like. A good nitpick for that was saying, why are they changing the animal species? But then again, you could say there's multiple species. I mean, they got zebras, they got ponies, they got blah, blah, blah. But you know what I mean.
So then why even care?
I don't care. It doesn't mean it's going to haunt me dearly. I just thought that was an interesting analogy.
Well, aren't there like different types of bees, at least in our world anyway?
Oh, yeah. There's like the hornet, there's the black wasp, is a black wasp a real thing? I'm going to look that up.
You could, which means you could say the same thing about that.
Oh yeah. It just took me a little bit to just think about it. Like I thought deeply into it. Oh my god.
What?
I just looked up a picture of a black wasp and they look terrifying.
And I know, like in Japan, like they have some really deadly killer bees over there.
Don't even get me started with the camel spider. Like one thing I observed was just like when in the episode where they do that three by the sea thing where they're telling the stories around the campsite, one analogy I made is that every single character, like in Rainbow Dash's story, every pony in that story is a Pegasus. Every pony in Rarity story is a unicorn, and every pony in who was it, Applejack?
Yeah.
And every pony in Applejack's story is an Earth pony. I thought to myself, okay, that's weird. Why is it like that? And then I thought myself back to the episode Heartswarming Eve, where the nations were divided. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, this may have existed before they kind of got along. This was like before them, where everybody was kind of was segregated at the time.
See, Evan focuses on racism. That's a joke, people. It's seriously meant to be a joke.
Yes, considering I already feel regret over other racist jokes I made on Mystery Brony Theater by accident, but like...
You were about to call my character a racist on the show until Miss Biz throws my favorite cup.
I love that cup.
There's nothing special about it either. It's just a glass cup.
Yeah, I'm a nitpick, but I use it to learn. I sometimes think deep into things. That's just the kind of person I am. I can't stop. I mean, like, are you telling me not to listen to my conscience? It's my conscience that's telling me what to do. Ugh. But yeah,
what I'm saying is I'm not quite sure if you're actually learning.
Well, I learned slowly. Like, maybe, like, if you were to look back at something, I wouldn't be like, going back to Crystal Skull. I haven't seen Crystal Skull. I was just convinced, like I haven't seen it. I'd be willing to see it, even despite what people say. I just probably don't have the time to do it right now. The only thing was when I heard that it had something to do with aliens, I'm like, okay, that doesn't sound Indiana Jones. But I'd still see it. I can't judge it to be terrible. I've never said it was terrible. If I did, it was by accident or something like that.
Well, the only thing I was getting out of that is what James Rolfe said about how people critique movies nowadays. They just seem to pick out individual scenes and base it on that rather than the picture as a whole. And I think he's got a good point. If you're letting a few, bad scenes dictate, if you think it's whether or not it's a good movie, I think that's not the proper way to, judge to judge a film.
Well, that's the thing there. Like, we're doing exactly what Siskel and Ebert did. Ebert did the whole thing as a film, but Siskel picked out individual scenes that were like nitpicking, and that's how the debate argued. That's why we had that just argument a moment ago. We basically turned into Siskel and Ebert.
And for the
someone even pointed that out in the comments section. I'm just pointing that out there.
And for the record, people, like, I don't hate Evan. I love the guy. I mean, meeting him and all of my other friends from the gala was an excellent moment in my life. But we do have a tendency to butt heads.
We like that.
Happens. And to be honest, it reminds me of I'm pretty sure most of you guys have heard of this Brony content creator named DWK who does totally legit recap. He did an episode on the he did an episode of his show on the MLP episode PPOV, or Pony Point of View, and he makes as he puts it a pseudo-intellectual argument at the very end about the episode's morals, and he made a really good one for that episode. He said, friends aren't people who don't piss you off. Friends are people who are worth forgiving over and over again. And he's absolutely right.
Well, that's the thing with me. Like, the thing is that I just do that. Whenever you get me in a spiral in a rage, it's not because I don't have an answer. It's because I'm so stressed I can't actually say my answer. That's why I start stuttering.
Which does happen to a lot of people. Whenever you do get angry, you tend not to think straight.
Yeah, that's why I usually prefer when we argue to do it by text. Like today, I actually I actually called him out by saying that it's impossible for critics to leak a movie before it comes into public eye. And I think,
like
I think
Evan
the reason you were
actually
arguing was because I think you were thinking you were thinking of it on one end when you thought it was leaked out after it was premiered on public, when I was referring to it before it went public.
Well, basically, for those of you that don't know, Evan and I were having a debate before the stream started about whether or not a movie could be leaked from a press screening. And I just think it's possible for that to happen because, as the old saying goes, if they can put a man on the moon, they can, do whatever. In this case, leak out a film. And
I like that comment made Great Mewtwo where Applejack's story was like a bust on He-Man or Shovel Knight. He was Shovel Knight. I'm just gonna say there.
You should actually read the Legends of Magic comic about that character. It's a great read.
Yeah, I'd love to see.
But anyway,
I'd like to see a spinoff of those characters.
Well, the comics are worth reading. That's all I can really tell you.
Yeah.
But anyway, people you can in fact bootleg a movie and from whatever kind of screening, because cameras nowadays have gotten so advanced, it's incredible. One thing I actually remember seeing is if you ever looked at the rim of glasses, there's always that little piece, right, that piece of plastic that's right there. Well, some people actually managed to build around it to fit a small camera through there, so something like that could sneak past guards, and you can record it, give it to a third party, and they could leak the film.
Yeah.
My point is that it's doable, and I'm pretty sure if someone did do that, they're not going to come out and say, "Oh yeah, I stuck into a press screening so that I could actually leak it."
Well, you can't sneak into a press screening. Trust me.
People who do illegal things tend to keep a low profile.
Just trust me on this one. I'm sorry I can't give you evidence on this one. I want you to just please, I beg of you, just take my word on this. It's impossible to sneak into a press screening. It is almost impossible.
Well, what I told you before is that I think we reached a stalemate.
Nope, I kind of proved you wrong on everything there because you didn't give me the evidence.
No, I gave you some evidence. You just still refuted it.
You gave me an article where people were saying that they leaked what was it called? What was that Quentin Tarantino movie? Like I actually consulted my producer for advice, and he said, tell him to give you an article where a critic released a movie beforehand, and he sent me an article about saying that it can be done. I'm like saying, cool, that didn't really answer the question, and also that's a lie. The movie what was that?
And I'm saying that
wasn't leaked, and the other one was a script was leaked, but it wasn't.
I need to gather my thoughts here.
Here, let me help you. Evan was right.
Evan can blow me.
Oh, I'd love to, but I'm all the way over here, so like.
I'll be seeing you this weekend, buddy.
Oh, cool. We'll have Cool. I know who I'm spooning this weekend. Anyway. Oh, by the way, I want you to tell Kurt. My dad gave me a spare piece of unobtainium if he wants that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I'll let him know.
Also, I gotta get you that information about when it opens. So yeah.
But anyway. The point I was making is that it's possible, and anybody who does actually leak a film, they're not going to come out and say, "Oh yeah, I snuck into, I was part of a press screening, but they didn't inspect me properly, and I snuck into camera." No one's going to admit that.
That's the thing, though. Usually, people I haven't seen if you have someone someone stuck into Conor McGregor's press con. What does that mean? Like Conor McGregor's press con? Who's Conor McGregor?
The name sounds familiar.
Is that the guy that was chasing Peter Rabbit all over his garden? Also, that was a press conference, not a press screening. Here's how a press screening works, basically, from what I've learned. You get the press. They get the press that releases the critique is given an invitation. They choose a critic if they have multiple ones to attend said press screening. Upon there, they present the invitation or badge that they're given, and also their license for freedom of press or something like that. I don't know. I'm not even going to go into that one. Is the thing that gets them in there. Once then, they're usually stripped of all electronic devices and get thoroughly inspected there. As also sign a contract of not tape or leak any footage there. The other reason why is because a lot of critics prefer not to have any distractions, and they sit there in the small. The room they were watching the footage in Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah.
It's basically what a press screening room looks like. It's like very few people, so that way they can keep track of everybody.
Okay, but you don't necessarily need to. You can put a piece of electronica in anything. Okay, it's not just a phone. Like I said, I mean, people were able to put cameras in the rim of glasses.
Have you seen a video taken with the glasses?
Actually, yeah, there was a Nickelodeon game show with it.
What was it called?
I can't remember, but I remember Nickelodeon had their own hidden camera game show. It was hosted by Phil Moore. And, like, I'll never forget, like, one of the things they had to do was actually catch I'm not kidding here, a green Jell-O cube.
Oh, and
with a random passerby at the amusement park.
I'm sorry, Justin, my buddy Juan sent me a thing about who this Conor McGregor guy is. Apparently, but like I said, that was a press conference. It's like something you're speaking to a guy. This was, I'm talking about press screenings, not that, again, I don't know what that is. There's literally a video of a guy sneaking backstage.
And plus, one thing that I pointed out is that, at least in also in my world, in the world of music, is that there's lots of people who will fake having an enterprise just so that they can actually, get free tickets in or like a backstage pass to meet bands. So it's not uncommon, for anybody to do such a thing.
Yeah, quite literally, if you were to leak footage from a press screen, it would either be... Oh, by the way, I also wanted to clear this up. I have a friend of mine that was in Full Sail named Mike Kelly, who I thought you were going to make the argument saying the person in the booth might be able to do it. And because my buddy Mike Kelly, he was a guy that lived in Alaska. He traveled a lot because his father was in the military.
Alaska? Holy shit. That borehole?
Yeah, he made all the jokes about it. He looked like the Geico caveman. But yeah, he was a cool dude. But the thing was, he said, look, I'm gonna be honest here, based on experience. If you want to try and film a movie with a video camera from the projection booth, go ahead, be my guest. Hopefully, it won't look ridiculous because of the lights next to you.
I actually got a chance to see a video projection booth, a modern one too, at that. Because when I moved back to Florida, I got a job interview at a movie theater, just right up the road from where I live. And after the interview, she actually let me see the various projection rooms, and it wasn't what I thought it was going to be honest. It was actually like a hallway with various cameras and no reels. Like they don't have them anymore. In fact, they actually had like this small roll of film that was about maybe the size of a donut, your average donut from like Dunkin' Donuts, and that was basically how much footage it takes to make a 30-second commercial.
That's crazy, right?
It really is. It makes you appreciate just how far we have come in entertainment technology.
Like I have filmed with I've actually filmed with film strips, and it's actually really not easy. Because here's the thing: when you load the camera, right? You have. The film can't be exposed to light, so here's what you got to do. You got to build this little tent that's like completely black in there, load the thing in there, and when you want to transfer the film into a tin from the magazine, you have to do it without looking, as well as load in the magazine. You may not, whether or not you know what that means, I'm just going to say out here, you basically got, picture, how people like have a skill of taking apart a rifle?
Yeah.
Okay, I want you to think about that. Now picture taking apart a rifle and putting it back together only blindfolded.
Yeah.
you might be able to master it, but it's hard. It is hard. I'm not even lying. Like there are people that film.
I even remember taking a film development class when I was in high school, and like actual film for like a still photography, not movie making.
Yeah.
And I remember like one of the ways you had to, because it did have a tin that you had to put the film in, and you actually had to do it from this pouch that resembled a jacket, only there was no space for your head. There was like sleeves and like a bottom where you had to stick it, then zip it back up and stick your hands in through.
Yeah, that was it. That was the tent.
Yeah. It's again, it really makes you appreciate just how far we've come. And I even remember when I used to live in New York, before I lived in Buffalo, I lived in Westfield, which was like maybe 30 minutes away from Jamestown, New York, where Lucille Ball was born and raised. So they actually have like a few museums dedicated to her.
I was never a big fan of I Love Lucy. I just want to put it out there. I just didn't find her funny.
But the editor, Dan Kahn, he had this thing that they called the three-headed monster, and was basically, how should I say this? It had 3 monitors on it that allowed him to actually edit the show all at once. And keep in mind, Bill, back then you actually had to literally cut the film with a blade and then glue it back together.
Yeah, which was easier said than done. Bear in mind, like if you look at like Trip to the Moon, one of the famous George Méliès film, it was in black and white, but when it was in color, they had to paint every single film strip. Like it's kind of like rotoscoping, only it's not.
If you ever wondered why the art industry, be it, like a traditional or motion picture or heck even performance art, heck even magic is so expensive, it's because there's no giant machine that's really making all these products efficiently. It's all, most of it is hand done.
It's all fingers.
Yeah, so
that's my life every single day. I go on my computer and I edit film.
So that's why it can cost so much money to have some a piece of art made. In the case for magic, what I'm used to is sure you are paying for the props, but you're also paying to know the secret of a trick. And how is the magician supposed to trust you to keep this secret? So they will charge an extraordinarily amount of money so that you're not going to want to just expose the trick.
That's crazy.
I'm trying to think. I think the most amount of money I paid for a trick, and keep in mind, this isn't to brag. This is kind of meant to kind of show how it works. It was actually for this series of tricks of a magic store that used to be open in Disney Springs called Magic Masters, I believe it was called.
I fucking remember that store. It was awesome.
Yeah, I know. It was fantastic.
But then again, I realized later that it's just one of those cheap magic stores that wants to sell you stuff.
Yeah, well, this wasn't cheap. This was actually professionally graded tricks.
Yeah, and nothing in downtown Disney is cheap, so
But I remember buying 3 rigged decks and one where a card would actually float.
Oh yeah, that.
Or would rise from a deck, a chosen card, a spectator's card. Another where an entire deck of cards turns into one card. Another that allows you to find anybody's card at random, and another one that allowed you to. This wasn't a card trick, but this was a magic. It was a levitation trick, and for the 3 decks and a levitation trick was $60.
Dang.
And
I rest my case.
And they have to trust that you're going to. And this was a time. This was before the days of YouTube and Google, and when people may say think $60. Right now it's not that much, but back then it was.
Remember when you used to pay for game codes?
Yes, I remember that.
Anyway, one thing I will say is that I'm going to give you a little bit of magician's advice here that my dad told me. My dad did a lot of research on magicians at one point, and here's a big rule for you. I want you to take this advice. Whenever you go out, no matter where you are, always keep a deck of cards with you in your pocket.
Oh, yes. You never know when the opportunity will arise.
Yeah.
In fact, whenever I go to a convention, I always try to make sure that I have some sort of a trick prepared that I can, just perform for a spectator.
I know. I want to buy that wallet that ignites.
Oh, you want one of those? I'm pretty sure I can find one.
Yeah, they look dangerous. I probably wouldn't bring that to a restaurant or anything like that, but I don't even know what I'd use it for. That's why it would stop me from buying it.
Oh,
so I'm pretty sure if I get pulled over and the guy asks for my ID, I'm going to go hey, how you going? And then he's probably going to shoot me on sight.
No, what I would probably use it for is, when I'm in line to meet someone and get to get an autograph and a photo. Okay, that's going to be $100. I'll pop up the wallet sign on fire. Sheesh, you guys are just taking my money left and right. Because my dad, he bought one of those, and my dad, he doesn't buy. He's very stingy with money. And to be fair, we're all diabetic, so a lot of that money has to be used for medicine. But he knew it was just such a great gag, so that whenever he had to pay for something expensive, he just pull it out, light it up. And it's jeez, you guys are burning my wallet here. And it always gets a reaction. Fire, while dangerous, is a very cool effect. You know, there's a reason why Michael Bay films explosions, okay, people?
He doesn't film explosions, they're digitally animated, but, you know.
He films explosions and boobs in slow-mo. That's what he films. But no, like fire is a great effect. It can mean both drama and horror at the same time. And now, I'm pretty sure for, you know, if I get a chance, if I get to do Everfree Northwest again, I will probably buy one just for that.
This is kind of stupid. I lost my mouse.
But one thing, though, that I belong to is actually, if you guys have seen those services that send you like a monthly package, there's actually one now for Magic. I think it's called, I'm trying to remember, it was made by this person named Justin Flom. Let me actually grab one of the boxes here. I have a small stack of these things.
Justin, nobody can see it.
I know. I don't want them to see. I'm trying to remember the name. AKM Magic Box. That's what it's called. Okay. And they basically send you like 3 or 4 tricks, new tricks every month. It's pretty cool. I've seen similar tricks before, but I want more professional tricks. I mean, granted, like not that I haven't gotten some. I have, but it's stuff that I've seen before.
Yeah. Anyway,
great stuff. Go check it out.
Yeah, definitely. Like with me, I thought about doing a loot crate kind of thing, but honestly, when I did, I'm like thinking to myself, I wouldn't have any room for this shit, honestly. But like, I would be a sucker for those if I had the space and time and money.
I do have a subscription to MLP Box as well.
Yeah.
I will admit, though, a lot of the stuff is basically like little trinkets, with the occasional cool, item for shirts, bags, stuff like that. But the most recent,
Fluffernutters makes a good point. He said, "But tricks ain't for kids."
What?
Fluffernutters said he makes a good point. He said, "But tricks ain't for kids." I'm sorry. No, he said, "But tricks." No, he said, "But aren't tricks for kids?"
No, they could be for anybody.
You're not getting this, are you?
I know what he's talking about. I'm just ruining his joke.
It's like when you look at jokes back then when you remember the old joke, guess what, chicken butt? Remember that old joke in like the 2nd grade?
No, I don't actually. Tell me.
Okay, people would the joke would go like this, like you get someone to say, guess what? What? And then they say chicken butt. And now looking at it as though I'm like thinking to myself, I don't get it. I don't so what about a chicken butt? What about it? Do chickens have butts? I don't know.
They do have an anus, I know that.
I mean, like, really, like, what was the point of that joke?
I have no idea. I don't get it.
Hell, the Cube from Aqua Teen Hunger Force made that joke to Master Shake. Even Master...
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember that Cube even called up a golf course to do the 10-pound bowling ball.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense there. Even when he makes the joke to Master Shake, he's like, that's it. You remember that one? He's like, yeah, I do remember it from the 2nd grade.
I actually want to. I'm tempted to actually. I was hoping they would release the rest of the series on DVD, but it doesn't look like it.
It's on iTunes.
What's that?
It's on iTunes.
But I prefer the physical disc, so it looks like I'm going to have to just get them on iTunes. I still get a kick out of hearing a Master Shake doing a shout out for Mystery Brony Theater 2000. Because you know it's free.
Anyway, I'm going to be doing, since we are on our final 10 minutes tonight, I'm just going to give you a little bit of a heads up there. I posted a video early this week of the meetup, the big upcoming meetup, and I think we might be having a buffering issue. Hold on. All the time. We were doing so fine with just the thumbnail. I guess next week we've got to do the thumbnail thing again. Hold on. Let me just make sure everything's good. Anyway, oh yeah, there we go. So here's the thing. Next week we're going to be doing next weekend is going to be a meetup party. We're going to be, if you guys are interested and are in the Florida area to meet up with us, kind of like what happened with the Equestria Girls movie, how that was a big success when we saw Equestria Girls Rainbow Rocks. We have pictures on our Facebook, I believe, still. I don't remember. But I'm going to be shooting a video. I'm going to be doing it in the same style as the Equestria Girls movie videos. Maybe not on my iPhone, though. But the thing is that we're going to go to the movie we're going to meet up at Disney Springs at 5 o'clock. If you need a ticket, get it for the 6:45 show. We already got 17 people that are coming. And, so yeah, get stuff for the 6:45 show. And we're going to hang out for a little bit. We're going to go see the movie. We might hang out a little bit afterwards. I don't know what Justin's doing. I'm probably going to need to take my car. And we're just going to see a movie, have some fun, make some friends, share some interests.
Hopefully our next stream could actually be about our thoughts on the movie.
Yeah, I might. Yeah, but it'll probably like 2 weeks from there. That's the thing.
What?
Here, I can give you a sneak preview. I'm going to be sitting there. Here's just a sneak preview of Justin. This was the best film I've ever seen in my life. Well, I'm thinking like it was okay. No offense. And
then there's going to be Brony telling Evan to snap out of it.
I don't get it. But like, basically, I'm not like. That's the thing with you. Like, I'm not nitpicking you thinking that everything that came out in the MLP universe is good. I'm just nitpicking you. You know what I mean, right?
Not quite.
Well, here's the thing. Like, you have a way of finding positive stuff in some of the negative stuff I do, which I am hold on a second. I got another message from a friend. Like, you have a way of picking out positive stuffs in the stuff I say that, which is good. But like, you know, there's like points where you. Let me put down here. There are some points where you can't admit where things are. When something's bad, it's not bad, but it's complicated. Basically, I'm not saying that you praise everything MLP, you acknowledge the bad, but like most of the times when I acknowledge the bad, it's like always stuff. So that's kind of like a big blowback at you. But we can
choose to see it negatively, even though when you've just been kind of proven that it could be the other way around. Why actually see it in the negative sense?
Yeah. But in the end, ladies and gentlemen, just like Robert Ebert, we can't agree on one thing. We both hate Protestants. I don't hate Protestants. Do what you want to do.
Why did they hate Protestants? I don't get it.
I don't think they hated Protestants personally. I think that was just a joke. Yeah, I'm Gene Siskel. He's Ebert.
Is this sort of a fat thing?
Yeah, I was gonna say I can make as many fat jokes as I can. I can't tell. Do you like?
Yeah,
does the fat joke thing like bug you, or does it? Because if it does, I'll stop.
Don't forget one thing though, Evan.
What?
You kissed me in the credit cartoon.
What? No, they didn't kiss.
Yes, they did. No, they actually kissed and made up in the credit cartoon.
They looked like they were gonna kiss, but then they had a handshake. No,
they actually do go in for a kiss. I saw it when I was a kid.
Hold on a second. I'm gonna look that up. That's gonna be something before the final five. Siskel and Roger Ebert, the critic kiss. Nope, I'm looking at the GIF there. I know it says the scene there. They look like they're about to kiss, but then when they get there, they just handshake.
Bullshit.
That's what I am looking at right now.
Okay, hold on. I gotta find this here, because I saw the cartoon when I was a kid. They kissed.
If they did kiss, I might be just looking at the one scene, but that's the thing. But anyway, you can look it up sometime there, but now it's time for the final five. Justin, as usual, you'll be going first to leave you with the final thoughts.
I'm right, Evan's wrong. No, I'm kidding.
I want to get you a shirt that's made that says, "In Just We Trust."
Yes, in Just We Do Trust. No, like, all jokes aside, Evan and I are always good friends. We will occasionally butt heads, and if that anger does show, I do apologize, but honestly, befriending him, folks like him and Brony have been one of the greatest things that's ever happened to me.
I hate both of them. Did you know I was going to say that? Did you know I was actually going to say that? Like, I'm not a jerk. I'm just like that guy that's the ADHD talking. He's a good guy. He's a smart dude. He sometimes can best me, but other times I like to prove him wrong. Despite me being right all the time.
Well, at least I can say I'm not as big of a chicken shit as you.
What are you talking about? I'm not scared of everything. I mean, like, if you're talking about the haunted house thing, hey, I told you the reasons why, so shut up. Oh yeah, good
No,
news. Hold on, I got
no.
some news from Fluffernutters here. Apparently, good news. He's almost done editing the new script for Whirl.
Sweet.
Yeah, I actually sent the script to Cellspecs. I haven't gotten her opinion yet, so yeah. Like the beta script. I also got to send that to the editor so he can British his lines up. Because like one of the original things there where in this trailers was he was asking what's that under your raincoat. It originally said what's that under your slicker, which is a type of raincoat. He's like, what the fuck is that? I gotta be honest here, people. The last time I wrote a script this long was Snow on Mount Silver.
Something that he wants to forget, apparently.
Well, I don't want to forget it. No, the thing I want to forget is the other thing. But like the Snow on Mount Silver, like it was just one of the times when I was still learning how to direct. So if you watch it, you can see kind of some goofy directing. But all in all, people liked how it did scare people. Like it wasn't good, but it scared people because it relied on more like jump scares and loud noises. Like I took like the end where the Game Boy shrieks. It's actually a clip from that video. Yo, oh yeah, Mr. Krabs. It's just a guy with the Monopoly, with like Mr. Krabs from Monopoly. He's like hanging on. He's like, oh yeah, Mr. Krabs. He slams on things and just screams for no reason. And the video ends. Hold on, I think I'll end our movie our night tonight with that, so that way I'll screen share on my end so no one can see it. If you guys want to look it up, it's oh yeah, Mr. Krabs. And oh, look at that. Apparently we got a copyright claim on this video.
Already?
Because apparently the shags are the most precious golden thing ever. So shit. Yeah, everyone wants to go see the Shags, despite them being the great best band. 10 out of 10, best band. Look up their song My Pal Foot Foot. Let me see here. What was it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Mr. Krabs. I'm just gonna play you the sound, the audio, but you can see my screen, right?
Let me see. Come on, get back here.
What?
There. Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna play you the video. It's like right here. Sorry for your ears, people.
Oh yeah, Mr. Krabs.
That's it.
What the hell was that?
Whoa, wait. What did the subtitle say? The subtitles say, golly gosh, my humble self, Sir Eugene of the Crustaceous, is proclaiming my utmost astonishment. In other words, that's a more fancier way of just saying,
Oh yeah, Mr. Krabs.
he did a reboot of it later. And Cass, he only has like 2 videos on there. Does he? I think he has like 3.
Guess who's back?
Oh yeah, he has a video. He's like, yeah, he has like very huge thing like fake news conspiracy, Mr. Krabs versus Mr. Lobster, Mr. Krabs versus Mr. Lobster, Extreme Edition. Announcement, Mr. Krabs. This guy did videos 4 years ago and then he disappeared for like 3 years and then came back. He's amazing. He's famous for one thing. Anyway, I guess that's it for the night. Well, I'll take a look at that script as soon as I can, Justin. So yeah, we gotta go. We gotta do a thing with Brony. Hint, hint. So yeah. You guys have a good night.
All right, everyone. See you guys next week.
Oh yeah, by the way, John and Juan, you can join us next time, but you're probably not gonna see the MLP movie, so you won't know what's going on. John and Juan, I told you about you remember John, the guy you thought was a complete and total dickhole?
I did?
Yeah, remember he kept making snappy comebacks at every Facebook comment I made, and you said, you said one day in like a message like, dude, that John guy is a complete and total dickhole, you know that? You said that. You remember, I remember you specifically saying that, that you remember saying that.
I remember level 3.
That ends it.